Hey everybody, it's Pat coming to you with an Oracle card reading and messages. In a little different spot. Been trying to search out spots that can work out either better with the lighting and you know how how it looks on the view to you. So anyways, this is a new spot I'm kind of working with and I think it'll work out pretty well. But you can let me know what you think too. So this particular reading is going to actually, I've been wanting to do a reading for the month too. So, today's reading is going to be initially for the month, and then, I'll either do a separate one or a little bit later in this, get into one for the week ahead. So we're entering September, and, as usual, I'm calling upon the archangels, from this card deck. But today I'm featuring the decks of Colette Baron-Reid. I just got my new card deck, The Wisdom of the Oracle. I've actually been working on and off with this deck for a while from Colette Baron-Reid's website. She has one of those areas where you can just kind of go and pick the cards. And I really like this deck. It's got beautiful images, and I like the the meanings of the cards, the way it's put out. And of course, because I've used these before, postcards from Spirit. So going into September, the archangels that are overseeing us are Jophiel and Raphael with these two messages. These came out together. I had another one of those times where, I pulled the card that was sticking out and two came out. So going into September, it looks like patience is going to be required because things are in development. It's also in general, what I get is it's just going to be a busier month. People's kids are back to school, so the buses are back on the road, and we're just going to have a little bit more patience with getting from here to there, getting our tasks done, whatever our agenda is, whether you're trying to get to work, whether you're trying to get your kids off to school because now it's a new routine that they're back into, or getting back into a routine. I talked about that last week. So it's going to require patience on everyone's part. Okay. But when I first got this, when this card first came out, it's a reminder that things are in development. Okay, she's watering the flowers, and the card says your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. So this is kind of like the fairy card, where you see the fairy who's got the translucent wings. The frame of her wings is there, the form, but they haven't quite filled in yet. And that's where we're at right now. There are things in development this month. They might be in development in your career. If you're changing around your house or looking for a new place to live or something like that, you might be in the process of developing that. Okay, so it's just going to require some patience. So remember, patience. Jophiel is very much an archangel who helps us to slow down and appreciate the process of things, or appreciate the beauty around us. She's an angel of beauty, and so there is beauty in the process of watching how things develop, like when you watch how a child grows up and how they develop through different phases of growth and learning in their life. We have to be patient with them during those processes, and which I do feel is also a part of this message for this month. As your children get back to school, and for those of you out there who have children that watch this, have patience with them as they get back into their routines and through their growth and development process in this coming school year. In a larger way, we do need to have, I get the sense of, I know Congress is coming back into session here in the United States, and things are developing there too. And we need to have even more patience. I've been a little frustrated with that, but anyways, I think they should have moved forward with other things. But that's aside, regardless of what your opinion about that is, it's urging us to be patient with them because things are in development. Okay. The other card that came out was Raphael, with this, give your cares and worries to us angels and allow us to take your burdens. Okay. So there's a lot of different areas in our personal life and in the world at large that we're worried about, that we have grave concerns about, especially with the even more shootings that have taken place recently, which is understandable. So, because we can't see, there's so much up in the air right now. We can't see where things are going, or how, it's hard to get a sense of the direction that they're going in. And even as an intuitive, it's hard to sometimes get a feeling of where things are going. So Raphael's message is about taking the little things that are bugging you and turning them over, surrendering them, okay? Asking the angels for intervention, but turning over all those little things that you may worry about, that you're carrying on you. When they say to take your burdens, there are some things that we don't always realize we've been thinking or preoccupied with so much that it has become like a burden to us, an extra weight that we're carrying on our shoulders. So his message is to give it over to us, put it in the hands of the divine, however it is that you do that, and allow their intervention to help lighten things up for you. Because sometimes when we're too attached to something, we can block the good that wants to come to us. We can block the seeing the solutions, and it's once we let it go that what we've been wanting, comes into our awareness or comes into being. So, anyways, so that's what's going on. That's general about what I see with September with the archangels who are looking over us. Okay. And we can call upon them. Raphael is an angel of healing. Jophiel is the angel of beauty. So healing takes time and patience as well. Okay. And sometimes if you are in a healing process of your physical body, then you're going to need patience with yourself too. It's hard when we're suffering either from an illness, or a physical malady like, a broken bone or anything like that, recovering from a surgery. It's tough because we want to get back to our normal routines. And but it takes patience. Your body needs time to heal. Okay. So anyways, those are the overarching messages for September as we go into it. Now I've picked 4 cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, and I'm just going to designate one for each week. So this first week of September, we have this card that says round and round. Okay. And kind of like when you get things going round and round in your head, or you've come to that point or awareness of like things that, you find yourself back in the same space and you kind of like, how did I get here again? It doesn't seem like you've made any progress. Like you're just going, around on the merry-go-round. Spinning your wheels is another way of putting it. But what this card reminds us of is that no, yes, it may seem like that, but you are kind of looking at that pattern from a higher perspective, and you have the opportunity to break it. And I think in the world, it's going to, as we see Congress come back into session, it's going to seem like with the current administration and the politics that are going on, it's going to seem like, oh God, here we go again, round and round. We're going to go around again with this, impeachment stuff. We're going to go round again. So it's going to seem like that, but there is progress being made, and there is more information. There's a higher perspective that we're getting each time. And even with the shootings, it's like, oh God, here we are again, back in the same pattern. A shooting happens, there's a lot of drama that goes on, and nothing gets done about it. But with each progressive, go around of the pattern, we are getting more information, and we have the opportunity to break the cycle. Okay. So, I feel like the angels are trying to tell us, have patience, give the cares and worries and concerns that we have about those things that are going on in the world, especially as our children go off to school and we're sending them off on the bus. And, we have worries and fears about that as a parent. So ask for the angels' protection, give your fears and worries over to the angels. It's not just going round and round anymore. Okay. There is forward progress and movement that's going to be made. In the second week, we have Treasure Island, which is, and the round and round card can have, be that you're reviewing things too. you're seeing patterns go on in your own personal life, and you're kind of reviewing them. And you might think, oh God, I've been working on this for so long. Why does it seem like it's continuing to happen? But there's a breakthrough. And the second week is this treasure island that, things that you've been working on are finally getting to a point where it's making progress, and there's opportunities that are coming in for you. Treasure Island to me also feels like, you've hit the jackpot. I mean, money may be coming into you. I mean, it's so cute in this card. The turtle's got like a little pot of gold on him, and there's all sorts of hearts and sea stars and things around it that are kind of heralding, like, woohoo, here it comes. So I want to look at a little bit with this treasure island. It has to do with the law of attraction too. Okay. Golden opportunities may be very apparent to you, but others may not be so easily seen. And it's urging you to trust your intuition. But anyways, it's about looking at the treasures in our life, okay? What we value, what we treasure, and abundance and opportunities that is here, okay? So the second week has to do with looking at that, looking at opportunities, maybe that we overlooked because we were going round and round all the time, or felt like we were going round and round all the time. We didn't stop or slow down enough to see opportunities that were there, okay? And some of them are very prosperous opportunities. But so it has to do with taking stock of the treasures around you in many ways. And also the fact that there are new treasures there for you, new blessings, new benefits there that weren't there before. Okay. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like for some of you out there, there's some additional benefits, I guess. And I know that's kind of a very generic way of saying it, but it may be through your work, or maybe you're moving into some place that provides a service, or there's services, maybe conveniences, something there that wasn't there before that's a benefit to you. And that's part of the treasure island. You kind of like, whoa, this is cool, hey, that's great. So there's a bit of that going on in the second week, okay? And the third week we have this Between Worlds card. All right, which has to do with transitions. Now, I mentioned earlier about patience, things are in development, okay? This third week is when we start to transition to the new things that we're going to be putting in place, or the things that we're wanting to see happening. There's a transition going on in this third week. So it can be a little upside down. Things can be a little crazy and awkward as we get into new things, kind of like when you're in between jobs or in between homes. And that may be what it is for some people. You're transitioning from one job to another. You're transitioning from one home to another. And so when you're between those worlds, there's quite a bit of adjustment that's going on, okay? In a larger way, and it, again, pertaining to what's going on in our nation and in the world, we are, I think it's interesting that it's flamingo, and one side has the color. And I want to say it's like a bit of transitioning from the darkness or the gray into the light, in the color, okay? That, like an awakening that happens when you finally see the light, kind of thing. All of a sudden, all the color, and you become aware of many things. But and things that have been, the gray areas, just that. It's the areas that have been gray, in our world. That information is finally surfacing and coloring, adding the color. The details are being filled in for things that we've been wanting to know about, okay? And I feel like that's happening in our government area and with this administration and things like that, the details are coming in. And so we're in between worlds. We're going from that kind of being in the dark about things to having the details and the color come in, so we see the more of the picture of what's been going on. All right. And finally, the last week of September, we had this card, the Tribe, and which is really the tribe is about your community. It can be about your family, it can be your ethnic and cultural community. It can be, our community as a country, your community as a country that you belong to. We have a melting pot here in the United States. So it can also be about, connecting with specific communities, groups, spiritual communities, or becoming a part of a community, or anyways, it has to do with those sorts of things, the tribe, the community. So at the end of the month, it may be that's what we're doing. Okay, we are connecting when there's a lot of disruption in the world, and as we get filled in with more of the details of what we see going on, and it's not so pretty, we gravitate towards our communities. That sense of belonging, where do we belong, and who are we connected to, and what's our community that we have around us? What's our support system. Okay. And and I get a sense of communities rising up. Okay, there are new communities rising up, especially our youth as a community, our young adults. Okay, they are banding together into a larger community to foster change and growth. Okay, because it's with all the environmental stuff and climate change and things going on, it's going to be their world that they're living in, raising their kids, 20 years from now. And they don't want to be left with crap. Nobody does. Nobody likes to go and move into a home or get a rental, whether it's a rental that you're living in or when you're going on a vacation, and see all the shit that everybody's left behind. A lot of us were taught when we were growing up to, clean up and leave it the way you found it. But in our past generations haven't, and even our current generation hasn't done that. There's loads of plastics in the environment, and there's, so the younger generation doesn't want to be left with that crap and having to clean up the mess of the previous generations. So, they're activating, and they are becoming their own tribe. And many of them are moving forward in very positive ways, creating positive new developments. I'm thinking of that group, that business 4Ocean. They're young adults, at least by my standards compared to me. But they're doing wonderful stuff, cleaning up the plastics in the ocean. And anyways, but a lot of people connecting with tribes. So this is a little bit about what I see ahead for September. I'll certainly fill you in, and I'm going to be posting a Simon information I got from Simon that happened very soon. That happened really recently, I guess is what I want to say. So I will try to put a link for that below, but if I don't put it in a link below, I will let you know about it very soon, and where you can find it. Okay, so all right, I'm going to close out this video because it was a little bit longer than I expected for the month of September, and I will come back on and do a shorter one for the week. Okay, thanks everyone.